time probably for questions at the end. So please feel free to put any questions in the chat, and then we'll probably just hold them until the end as well. So without further ado, let's talk about Seville. So again, we're going to start from the top. If you don't know anything about Seville, I've put a few fun facts. Some of the things I like to tell our students is that Seville offers the best of both worlds. You're not only going to be in a city, you're also going to have kind of that smaller feel. It's not a huge, metropolitan area like maybe Barcelona or Madrid. So you'll have a lot of opportunity to practice Spanish if you're interested in, but there's so much to do here for our students. This is where tapas was invented, so the food is amazing. It also is home to the most famous festival, Feria de Abril. I never say it correctly. My colleague makes fun of me. And it is the capital of the Andalusia region. So like I said, I always tell students this is a great opportunity if you're like, I'm maybe not interested in a huge Spanish city like Barcelona or Madrid, but I still want to have a lot to do. So I definitely, so again, just high level about Seville, very walkable as well. All right. So a little bit of program information is going to float on the screen here. Most of this is online that you'll see. When you're looking at the co-sponsored programs, you're going to look for that CEA full curriculum in Seville. The deadlines are up there, so you have some time. And then there are a ton of different tracks available for our students. Seville does have something for pretty much every major. And so you'll see a few tracks. Don't be alarmed if you don't see your major up there. I'm going to talk a little bit about academics next, but a lot of opportunity here in Seville. All right, where will you study? So obviously when you're at Miami, you're studying at your Oxford campus. In Seville, you have a few options. We will always be at our CEA Study Center, and you will see that online and on the program brochure. Our CEA Study Center is basically like if you were to attend class at Miami. It's going to be a building. It's going to be made up of U.S. Study abroad students that are also studying with CEA, a little bit more of an Americanized style of teaching, and but with local faculty and professors. And then you also have all those common spaces. So my favorite photo is the big one here. That's actually out on our terrace. And it is a wonderful place to just kind of study, hang out. We do tapas workshops there. And it's a really great place to just kind of get away after some classes to hang out outside. And then there'll obviously be Wi-Fi throughout, student lounges. So again, picture if you took a building from your campus and just put it in Seville, Spain. There'll be students from all over the US studying with you on this program that will also be taking courses here, but the study center is where a lot of your hub will be as you move forward. And this is also where our CEA staff is located. But in Seville, again, best of both worlds, not only for size and academics, but also for your experience. So there are partner institutions here. And what that means is that you'll also get to study with other international students at a Spanish university. So I have our three main ones listed here. I'm not going to go too in depth at what they offer, but they all offer a breadth of coursework depending on the program track that you select. And you'll also, again, be with international students. So not only CEA students, but students from around the globe while you study there. Typically, our students will take 2 to 3 courses at the CEA Study Center and then supplement the other 12 to 15 credits to get there with our partner institutions. So we're happy to answer those questions about like which one might be best for you at the end or during an advising session. But they're really, like I said, best of both worlds. You'll be a hybrid option, not only at the CEA Center, but also at some of our partner institutions. All right. So academic areas in Seville. I just chose some popular majors that tend to choose Seville and have a lot of coursework here. So communication students, psychology and sociology, political science and business will all find a breadth of options in Seville, but don't be alarmed. I didn't put Spanish up here. If anyone's a Spanish major, I figured that you probably can, figure out that you will definitely be able to find coursework in Spanish in Seville. But we just wanted to throw a few up there in case you're like wondering who tends to lean this direction. And then I put a few of our really popular courses here for our students. So the sport and culture in contemporary Spain, obviously, I'm sure if you've all heard about the football culture, Seville is no different. So we have coursework around sport and culture, and then it focuses around where you can go in Seville. And then cross-cultural perspectives on disease, wellness, and healthcare is actually a newer course option for any of our students that are studying health. It's a really great option to kind of hear a little bit about, how Spain has handled, obviously the pandemic that's still going on, as well as just get an international look at healthcare and wellness. And then another one, architecture and paintings used to fill up. It's a great elective course for our students, to get out in the city. All of our courses use the city as its classroom. So there will always be a Spain twist on most of your courses that you'll actually get to like integrate yourself into the culture and have that experience. All right. You heard me mention that the city is your classroom. You go beyond that point, even when you are doing your cultural activities and excursions. All of these are included in your program if you choose to do them. They are totally optional. Obviously, we aren't going to force you to do this, but I always recommend to my students to take advantage of this. You are paying for it in the program, so definitely don't miss these opportunities. If you want to work on your Spanish, we do language exchanges with locals, the flamenco workshops, as you probably saw on the first slide. Flamenco is super important in Sevillian culture. And then we also have the regional cuisine workshops, which are like those tapas and always very popular for food tasting and learning how to cook. So definitely recommend. They're usually held at the CEA Center, so you'll be very familiar with the area as well. And then we also do excursion and day trips. So typically there'll be 2 to 3 excursions during the semester, usually one overnight and then a few like supplemental day trips. We do keep you in Spain. We think it's super great that you will have the opportunity to travel Europe, but we want you to really experience Spanish culture while you are studying abroad in Spain. So I've put a few of our examples that we've done in the past, Madrid, Granada, Ronda, Lisbon, and then we've actually gone to northern Morocco before. So there's great opportunities here. Again, you already have paid for these excursions. You'll get a lot of information on orientation, but they are included in your program cost, and you'll have CEA with you, so you don't have to plan a weekend trip or day trip to these places if you choose not to. Let's talk a little bit about housing. Always usually top of mind for students. In Seville, we have a few different options. And again, these are all included in your program costs. And those are listed below. So the apartment, a homestay, and then the Casa de Sevilla, which is it's a best of both worlds. And then we do have a residencia. So I'm not going to spend too much time. I know you guys are just getting some preliminary information, but we have the most popular is actually the casa and the homestays in Seville. Now they do include meals, so that might be a big draw. But if you're wanting a little bit more of the independent living in apartments are awesome options as well. And these are all things that you will fill out during your pre-departure process. So there's plenty of time for you to think on this. And then Sam or your CEA advisor too will be able to give you any advice as you move through this process. My colleague who studied in Seville for a full year actually did a homestay. She said it was amazing, and she still talks with the family. I've had a lot of students do we call it the casa, which is essentially you're in an apartment, but you have a host mother usually that comes in and maybe cleans and interacts with you. And that's another really awesome option if you're kind of looking for a hybrid, if you're not really sure you want to be with a family. And then the residencia is available for an upgrade option. So essentially just be a little bit of additional cost. And those are kind of more like they're not like American dorms, but that's usually the easiest way to describe them. But you'll have like a kitchenette, shared like a private bathroom if with your roommate, but there'll be like common shared spaces. And all of these housing options you're going to be integrated with locals and other students. So it's not just going to be CEA students in like one building or in one type of homestay. So it's a great option. All of these will have you out and living in the city, so you feel like a local. And then I did just throw the commute on there. This is a big range. So totally depends on housing. The CEA Center is very centrally located. So most of our housing is a little bit closer, but just know like that'll be 30 to 40 minutes like walking and or metro. So again, it's pretty standard for a study abroad, but I wanted to put that up there as well, just to give you a feel for the commute. So what's included? We've talked about excursions, we've talked about academics, we've talked about housing. So here's kind of what's included with your program for in Seville. So your pre-departure advising, visa advising, which all of you, unless you are also have European citizenship, and one of the countries will need to have a visa. So CEA is ready and able to help you with all of that, since it's probably the first time most of you are getting a visa. I know when I studied abroad, that was the first time I had even heard those words. And thankfully CEA has got you covered with a lot of help and support in that process. And then, any financial advising will also be done by your study abroad office, since you're not paying CEA. And then tuition and registration, obviously, we're going to pick you up from the airport when you get there. All your orientation, city tours, all our staff support, 24/7 coverage. You guys can read what's on the screen. So really, there's not going to be any hidden costs. Once you get there, you're going to find out that you got to pay $20 for orientation or something. So this is all included in your program through the co-sponsored Seville program. All right, I'm going to hand it over to Sam to talk a little bit about this stuff.
Yeah, so this program is co-sponsored, and basically what that means is that we have an agreement with CEA that allows you to pay Miami tuition. So you can see here that you would pay whatever your rate is, depending on whether or not you're an Ohio or a non-Ohio resident. The $175 study abroad admin fee is pretty standard across the board for all of our programs. And then there would be a program fee. So the total program fee here is $7,145. It's split here because $3,000 is paid as a deposit, and the remaining $4,145 would be added to your bursar to be paid alongside your tuition. The personal expenses here is really just sort of an anticipated budget. That is not something you would have to pay off the top for this program. And honestly, that can range very wildly depending on you as a person, right? You know better than we do how you like to eat, how you like to travel, how you like to live while you're abroad. So you would be better at kind of making your personal expenses budget than we would. However, these prices here would be something that you would pay for the program. And do keep in mind, because you're paying Miami tuition, that your Miami scholarships would be applicable. So your Miami financial aid package basically would be applicable to this program. So if you're interested in this program and you have not yet started an application, the link is here, or you can always send me an email. I will drop my email in the chat before we leave here, and you can let me know. I'll send you the application instructions. Basically how it works is you will just apply through Miami. Once you're approved and you have been nominated through CEA by our office, then you will get sort of a follow-up from CEA with a small application to do, but that is not something that you would do right away, just the Miami application. And then, as this says, if you still have questions after this session, please always feel free to drop in to our walk-in advising or schedule an appointment with me on Navigate, or even just send me an email. I am super happy to talk with you about this program and help you along the application process as well.
Yes, and I'll drop my email in case you have any questions too afterwards about CEA specifically. I'm happy to help as well, but please just do your Miami application. I'll just say that again. You do not need to do CEAs. Miami is going to send all that information to us so that you don't have to worry about it. Just one application, just do your Miami one.
Yep.
Very important. Okay. So I think we're pretty much at the end, you guys. It's very high level. Wanted to just give you a feel of Seville. I will say Seville is super attractive to our students from US campuses that want to have that partner experience of not only being at a study center, but having the opportunity to meet international students. If that's not your vibe, that's cool. You can still just take courses at the CEA Study Center as well. And I know that there's a lot of tracks. So we have plenty of time for questions now while Sam and I are both here. So feel free to unmute or put them in the chat. And then my colleague Seth is joined from